Yay!
Woo!
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello, 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 hello.
Hello. We are still down a couple of players tonight, but nevertheless, we soldier on. We adventure on. So, let's see. We've got 4 proper players here tonight, and then me for some reason, but nevertheless. Who would like to go first talking about what happened last week, and let me know if you need me to fill in? Because since we started posting these to YouTube, we can listen to it on the car ride home. Hey.
Nice.
Nice.
I'll start just by the brief stuff we just talked about because I don't really remember much beyond that. But we were fighting a giant tree because it kidnapped our dear friend Gregnut.
Yes.
It was a living tree. Well, I guess all trees are living, but that's beside the point. It was like a sentient tree.
It was extra
If
alive.
that makes sense. Yeah, exactly.
It had a consciousness.
Yes.
Nice.
If
Although
Nick were
we
here,
don't
he
know
would
that
argue.
tree. Okay,
yes.
that's never mind. I mean, we haven't proven that trees don't have consciousness, so.
Oh gosh.
I'm sorry, Ryan. I know this is right up your alley.
Okay. What does everybody else remember?
There's certain paths that we have to take. One of them's the route of the tree. There's another path, like in like a 3 paths, right?
Yes.
The tree route and 2 other ways. One that's got like dirt, and then the other one I can't remember.
So far you guys have traveled down the path that led you back to Olron, which was the path of the, like, twisting roots. There is the path that leads to this field of trees with the tree that was speaking in Orcish tongue. And there is a path that leads to this strange black dot that was signifying something that one of you saw somehow. Another couple things that went down, unless anybody else wants to jump in or remember something. I feel like once I begin, you guys will remember more. Go on. Yes? Anyone?
Oh,
I do-
go for it. Sorry.
I do remember that we did. I think you mentioned that we found Olron, but he was very much worse for wear because the hallucinations were starting to make him remember things that he had forgotten because he lost his memory.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least I assume so. You didn't overtly say it, but I'm kind of just trying to put 2 and 2 together.
He mentioned something about someone by the name of Calliope, which you didn't recognize straight off the bat, but that is a name that you don't think he knew before.
Yes, indeed.
Along with this...
I'm trying to...
Cody, did you remember something?
I think the thing you're...
You can finish, go ahead.
I think... Oh yeah, you just mentioned that I think I saw, like, weird things happening with the trees by using the Iris's glasses.
Right.
I
So
think.
a lot of these colored dots that you guys were seeing seemed to be locating around the trees that were kind of spawning different things that seemed very attractive to each of you in turn. Like, for instance, this red dot, I believe, was spawning something that looked like scales that seemed particularly attractive to Dren. And this orange spot was what had spawned whatever was particularly attractive to Olron, etc., etc. So...
Also, Pam disappeared into thin air.
There we go, yeah.
So.
Pam
And so did
disappeared
Gregnut,
/
I think,
took off.
technically.
Previously, Gregnut had been left to search after Olron on his own.
Oh. Sorry, I meant Ashoka. But I think we actually took him with us. I don't remember.
Yes. Ashoka is very shriveled and smaller than usual now. And he is either on your back or somewhere.
Okay.
He's just chilling. He's like all over. Like he just pops up. Like like I'll be talking, and then all of a sudden you just like see him in the background.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's just there.
He's like on the TV shows where they have the full-blown characters and then they have the tiny like anime avatar head speaking off screen. He's that. He's in that mode right now.
Yeah.
Rendor also had a dream in which you both were and were not Rendor somehow. Do you recall any of that?
Yeah, it was in an astronomy facility.
Uh-huh. And I believe where we left off, you were still considering some kind of a choice regarding that. Am I correct?
I think I accepted it.
Okay.
Based off of will, I think was the.
Yes.
I don't know what any of that means.
Uh-huh. Welcome to the game.
This is a non-informed decision.
Yeah, that's kind of how DieRole goes. Okay. Is there anything else anybody wishes to bring up? Beyond just the parameters or the scope of last episode, you guys came upon this island of the massive sea turtle that may possibly be dead. Morgana, I believe you also saw something interesting last week. What was that?
I don't remember. Did it have to do with the sea turtle? Oh, didn't it like talk to me or something? Or no, someone was talking to me about it. I can't really remember.
It was your dad. Oogie,
Oh.
oogie, oogie.
Oh, was it my dad? Okay.
I thought so.
Was it? I don't remember.
Yes, it was. Or at least
Oh.
it seemed to be.
Oh, yeah, because I had a vision of him, and he had shown up to the island. But we don't really know what time, right? Like, what time
Correct.
period that was? It was, like, around now, or, like, if it had been in the past.
Correct.
Yeah. Dang, okay. I definitely remember that now.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes. Did I tell everyone that yet? I
No.
can't remember.
No, you did
No, I
not.
haven't? Okay.
No.
No.
To be honest,
Because I feel like I would probably tell someone.
folks have
at
not
least,
had too much
Vincent.
talking time right now.
Oh,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's
true.
That is very true. We haven't been like, okay, let's just sit down and here, let me tell you about my dad that I thought was
True.
Correct and true.
Let me tell you about this dream I had.
very true.
All right. I think that's a fair catch up. Couple of other things to remember. You guys found the place that you had been led to from the comic book, originally on the beach with the little tally marked piece of stone wall that had been buried and or fallen into the sand. That was also gone with Pam after you guys woke up the next day. And we start again now in the forest with a tree that is no longer talking in any language, and a familiar-faced friend in a cage, and particularly downsized Vincent.
Oh yeah,
oh
I
my
forgot
God.
about that.
I forgot about that too.
Thank you for
Did he
seeing-
eat a wee bean?
Yes. Well, I ate a bean that was confusing because I wanted it to shrink Greg Nut, but Greg Nut said it was going to shrink me. It was a whole mess. Watch the previous episode to find out what happened.
So here we find ourselves, our collected heroes. What would you all like to do? What are you going to do now to help Gregnut in this cage?
Is there a lock on this cage?
Make an investigation check for me, please. Hi.
Right. Investigation. Oh, that's +3.
Wow.
Okay.
Am I able to investigate too?
Yes, please do
Is that too
so.
much to ask?
I will.
Oh,
roll.
I'd have to ask you to roll
Yeah,
for
I
me.
know. That's okay. So you got a 13, Rendor got a 22. So as
Okay.
you're trying to investigate, but Rendor is already so far up on it that you have to keep like stepping around it, and you get like a little bit flustered and you're trying to be polite. And by the time that you've stepped around him enough to investigate, his head pops up. Rendor, you're able to see after a relatively thorough investigation that this cage does not seem to have been designed with a lock on it. or door because of the way that it was grown fully out of the tree's own arm.
Dang, this is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. There's no war.
Mm-hmm. Can you guys just carry me around like this? I'm so sorry, Nick.
Pregnant, are you sick?
I'd let you steal these island temperatures.
What was that?
I'd let you steal these island temperatures.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, yeah, you can hop up onto my shoulders if you like wanna just chill or whatever.
He like looks at the cage bars around him and tries to hop and bangs his head on the top of the cage. We're gonna let it work.
All right, let me see if I can open this thing. Do I see any like latch on it or anything like to open it, or is it just like a flat like no?
After a brief moment of taking a look, you see the same thing Rendor saw. There's no door because it's fully grown out of the tree itself. And after that, in somebody using some kind of a special roll, had turned it into metal. So...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, who did that? Jeez, come on. We're trying to save Gregnut or what? I mean...
You guys...
I'm trying to think if I have any kind of spell that can... at least try to get him out.
I'm also trying to decide what's funnier, if Vincent's voice is actually going right now, or if it's still just Vincent's full deep voice coming from an extremely small Vincent.
Max, do you own any helium?
I think I don't know. In both instances, it would be really funny. Like just having like, I keep thinking that it might be funnier to have like a mini person that just like full on Vincent's voice.
Yes!
And I just get scared. I'm like, oh my god, what is this? Why are you so small?
Over here.
I wave my arms at Morgana.
Roll a performance check.
Okay.
Wait, so are you going
Morgana.
I'll say for posterity's sake. Okay, that's a 7. I'll roll a perception check for you, Morgana. See if you see that.
Okay.
I'll say that you're like 1.5 inches tall, Vincent. You're very small.
Oh my gosh.
Oof. Okay. So, Vincent got a 7 performance when he's extremely small. You got an 11 perception.
So can I see him?
I think you can. I think you can definitely hear him, but you can't pinpoint where he is. He's like somewhere on Gregnut's person.
I'm like, Vincent, are you invisible?
I'm just really tiny.
You're really what?
Tiny.
Piney?
Small.
Piney?
I'm a small boy.
He's eating
do you know
little
where
buddies.
Ashoka.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I cannot. I'm lucky enough I can even hear you right now. Are you in my ear? Are you like really small?
I try to run over to Morgana's foot.
Okay, make an athletics check for me, please.
Okay. At
Well,
least
be
I'm
careful,
good at
Fred.
that, relatively.
Relatively. Be careful, Fred. Wasn't Ashoka on your back when you first came towards me?
Is there a tiny Ashoka on my back?
Make a
Even
perception
minier
check.
Ashoka.
So I want us all to picture the camera zooming in on the back of Harrison with his usual dark clothes, dark hair kind of tied up, and just zoom in Honey, I Shrunk the Kid style as he... You latch onto one of the bars of the little cage and you fall down it like a slightly oversized fireman pole and watch as you just Naruto run across the grass, and then we just zoom out and we see just like singular grass things getting turned over as you land on Morgana's foot. You're so focused on getting to the mountain that is now Morgana's foot that you're not sure what's on your back, unfortunately. You feel Also, everyone's voices to you sounds like this.
Oh my gosh.
Can I see him running over to me, or do I not see him?
I'll give you a perception check at advantage since he just did a real good athletics check, which should be appreciated.
Yes.
Sweet, thank you.
Oh yeah, you got a 19 perception. You see this like
sweet.
just as he gets to your foot,
running,
you see.
Yeah. Okay. So as I see him, I kind of go like, "Oh shoot!" and then I kind of like start to take a step back, but I'm like, "Oh, no, I don't want to like hit him on accident." So then
you freeze.
I like
step forward.
I freeze, and then as I'm able to kind of see where he's at, I like bend down to like pick him up. And go like, all right, let's go.
Yes.
We'll figure this out later.
Is the Shoka on my back?
I turned to look. Can I see a Shoka?
I'll give you one more perception check. He fits on your thumbnail.
Oh my god. You're so small that I have to literally.
Oh no.
You got a 3 perception check, so you can't tell if Ashoka is on his back or not. That could be Ashoka, or that could be his hood, or that could be his backpack. You're not sure.
I'm just like, I don't know, there's some kind of other speck on your speck, but I don't think it's human. You're good. I like completely like go the other route, like I don't even,
It's nothing.
I'm just like, yeah, it might be, yeah. I think it's just your hood. Don't worry about it.
Shoot.
We'll figure out where Ashoka is later. Alright, we need to get Gregnut out.
Yes, please. It's not a good Gregnut, and I'm sorry about it.
Gregnut, I swear your voice has changed. I just can't figure it out. Is it really the humidity?
It just fills my nostrils with such gunk and strange pollen. I know not what to do.
Yeah, I guess so. Alright, well, yeah, let me see if I can find a spell really fast. But, yeah, carry on. I will look for a spell for a second.
Anything that can restore people to their...
Normal size.
Yeah, I should definitely look for a spell like that, too. Let's see.
Can I try hitting the cage? Just like, can I just beat on it with my hand?
Sure, make an attack. Do you have access to your spells, Morgana?
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna hit it. I'll do it two-handed, so it's a little bit stronger.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's what is my bonus? I think it's +6. Yeah, +6. Okay. Yep.
You tack it kind of at the corner, trying to find a part where it might have fused together. Like if it had been a built cage, you try to get it at a spot that you think it might have been more brittle. But it's like all the kinetic energy that you sent into where it ought to have landed on the cage reverberates back through your weapon and into your arms and elbows, and you feel a little bit just yeah.
When you hit a rock with the axe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no. Oh, damn.
Darius,
Yes.
you have magical means to alter things or destroy things, or
Well, I have fireball and freeze ray, but I don't want to do anything with my cat within that could harm the object within the object.
I mean, we can try to angle it right, and hopefully get it not get hit, Gregnut.
freeze it, and then we could hit it.
That might be a good idea because I really can't see anything that would help. I could try dispel magic. Does it have any kind of magical?
Why don't you make an Arcana check? Anyone who wishes to, so I can make one for you, Morgana.
Okay, thank you.
Character sheet. Anyone who has
Can I
Arcana.
aid Morgana? Right.
You may if you wish. How are you going to aid Morgana?
Just kind of like make some suggestions.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, well, what do you think about we have some magical theory discussion?
All right, Morgana. Why are
I'm
you
down for
so
that.
good Arcana? You're a cleric. Okay.
Because it rhymed.
Do I do an inspiration? Do I have one of those?
Oh yes, you're a bard, aren't you?
Ooh, yes.
Bard. Let me see if
Yes.
I haven't used it. I haven't used it yet. Okay, so I'm gonna bring up my little
There you go, mates.
I'm gonna give it a
Mhm.
give it a 2, and let's go, Morgana. You understand, and and
Well,
you have you get to add a D6 to your next
Ooh, nice.
as well. So
Okay.
Nice.
I'll roll Arcana for Morgana. Darius already did a good one, so we've got a whole Arcana panel happening here. Do you want to add that inspiration or not? Because you just got a natural 20.
Oh shit. Yeah. Or should I save it for something else? What do you guys think? I mean, there's already a really good outcome about to happen. What?
it'll only last for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So
I
just
don't
do
know if I'm gonna need a roll. Yeah, I'll just use it for this.
Okay. So,
I'd rather something really, really good happen.
is it a D6, Rendor?
yeah, D6 inspiration.
Okay. Vincent. Okay. So, Darius got a 23 Arcana, which is also very good. And then your total Arcana score, Morgana, was 35. So,
Oh wow.
Darius, you begin to hypothesize and kind of formulate in the back of your head that you think that it's potential that part of the reason that this tree is no longer talking is that whatever magical arcanic force was giving it life is now transferred into, and by the time you're there, Morgana, you've already gotten through, like, it's the inverse of the meme with the woman with all the equations around her head. You're like, the pure arcanic life essence that has been placed into this tree is now kept within this cage with the sole purpose of protecting Gregnut, its favorite pet. I have cracked this code. If we can assure it that we have no will to harm Gregnut, he will be freed.
Oh.
Okay.
However, you do almost get a third eye sense. You also just attacked the cage, and the cage is not necessarily smart.
Oh. Okay. Well, I will tell them that and figure out and say basically like how do we figure out how to show that we're not trying to harm the tree. Oh, bless you. Jeez.
Thank you. Sorry.
That scared me.
Sorry.
What is that? No, it's okay. It's fine. I just was like, whoa. Where is that noise coming from? Okay. So, yeah, so I just ask everyone what they think would be the best course of action because we need to show that we don't want to harm it.
From your natural 20, you would fully understand its primary concern is wanting to protect Gregnut. So anything that it perceives or wrongly perceives as a threat to Gregnut, it will remain as it is.
Okay.
Oh.
So we need to make sure it doesn't perceive us as a target or as a threat towards Gregnut. So maybe we can just continue talking to Gregnut.
Come here, Gregnut. Come on, buddy. Hey. How you doing, Gregnut?
I'm okay. How are
Why don't you come over here and jump up my lap?
It's very kind of you. You haven't offered that before. I'm so honored. He like starts.
You know I'd never hurt you.
Yeah, I know, Darius. He starts to try to like walk forward through the bars, and still bumps into them. No.
Well, what are you still on that side for? Come on, buddy. Come on. Let's get back to what we were doing.
Make a persuasion check. Not for Gregnut's sake, but for the sake of the cage.
Alright. Not my highest thing, but
You are beckoning okay. Gregnut again tries to reach forward, but the cage, remaining unconvinced, blocks his path.
so I'm gonna reach in and say, "Oh, hi, Gregnut," and then pet his head, stroke his head a little bit, say, "Come on, buddy, let him know."
Can I get like a little piece of ration and like try to like hold it out as well to try to, like, assist them?
Okay, Gregnut appreciates the pets, though he like tries to return them to you, and his arms are too short. So you're holding out a piece of ration, Rendor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here you go, buddy.
He will actually reach out and take that to like eat it. Will you roll a persuasion check to try and convince the cage?
Sure. Let me see what my persuasion is. Persuasion's not too bad. Yep.
Ooh, okay. As he reaches out to grasp the piece of ration, you watch as part of his arm passes through one of the cage bars as though it's not there, and then it returns to his mouth with the piece of ration that he eats, and then he literally reaches out and grabs the bar that was allowing itself to be passed through a moment earlier without thinking, and it's solid again. So, progress, but not complete.
I'm gonna jump back down into the cage.
Okay, make an athletics check for me. And again, we zoom in on Vincent Tiny Vision. I assume that at this point you would have been up to maybe about Vorgana's hip, just quietly climbing as you're trying to yell things. So,
Yes.
again, we zoom into doom, 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 and we watch as Vincent in tiny form just kind of.
It's like
Yes.
like Mission Impossible. Wait, did I not grab? I thought I grabbed him.
Oh,
Like,
you're
put him
right,
on my shoulder.
actually. You had set him up, so that makes even more sense. So you watch as, because he was on your person, I'll say that you had a close enough view that we start and we see a little, like, flea-looking thing jump off of your shoulder. We switch to Vincent's camera and we see him, like, anime flying through the air with the color lines in the background just shouting. And then we switch back to Vincent to Vorgana view and see him land on the top bar of the cage. You're standing over top of
It goes
Gregnut's
from-
head.
They start off like, and then like,
Yeah. Precisely.
nice.
Action.
All right. So you have returned to the top of the cage. What would you like to do?
I want to go inside of it and just be like on Gregnut, basically.
Done easily enough. You can like take a much smaller jump and land on his head.
Okay, I just wait there now.
Okay. You're just okay.
So this is like the rat on top of the chef's head in Ratatouille. So
Yes,
you're gonna grab
I-
his hair and drive him left to right.
I climb onto Gregnut's head and I grab onto his hair and I start trying to control him.
Like gratitude.
Yes.
Make a persuasion check.
Okay. This is not gonna go well.
Get a 10. Oh, come on!
Oh, come on!
He got a 9.
That was so close.
So you start to yank, and then Gregnut, instead of moving the way that you want, his like right arm starts jumping as if it alone is trying to do a dance, and that is all that happens. Ooh.
Perfect. This is all I need.
And the cage, seeing this, thinks, "Oh, he must be happy." And the cage dissolves.
Do you want to roll an Oliver roll about it?
Yeah. Oliver roll.
Wait, who? Did the cage dissolve?
I don't know. Someone suggested something that is impossible, but possible through cheating means, which is kind of the whole mechanic of that. So, I reminded
I
us
thought
of the
you were just
mechanic.
gonna Oliver roll to Ratatouille your way out of it. I thought you were gonna re-roll.
I should, but I have different plans.
Oh. All right, guys. So what are you gonna do? You can also just try to pick up and carry Gregnut along with you if it really comes down to it, I suppose. But it's up to you. You can either convince the cage now or convince the cage later, or abandon Gregnut in a forest. But I don't think any of you want to do that.
I mean, we don't need him, right? No, I'm kidding. We should
In
not
reality, he'll be there whenever he wants us to.
whenever we
you
come
know.
back. Yeah.
True.
He'll be our like guiding point. We'll meet back. You know, if we ever split up, we'll meet back up, but we're at the Gregnut tree.
Oh
We'll just call it the Gregnut tree.
No, I was meaning that he'll just show up sometime.
Oh yeah, he'll just get free eventually, and then just wind up back in our party.
The odds we
Like,
forget.
Oh, hey, yeah.
Aw.
Oh, hey, Gregnut. Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you just want to leave him here.
No!
Or just
I was
like,
kidding.
"Hey, Gregnut."
Gregnut, do you have any more beans?
No. I gave my last bean to Vincent too. He thought he had an idea to try and help me get out of the cage, but he ended up being small because he didn't understand how it worked, which I don't blame him for. They're very gregarious,
Wow.
my beans.
I go, what if you just ate Vincent? Would that solve the problem?
I don't want to eat my friend. I don't want to. I haven't thought about eating Vincent. I don't want to eat Vincent. What are you talking about eating Vincent?
It's gonna be one of those episodes, eh? Where we all
And then-
become small and go into someone's body. I'm not ready for that.
I just feel like he'll get himself out somehow.
But the cage was listening when he said, I don't eat my friends, so the cage knows that we're his friends. So we're not going to harm him.
Hey, Cage, we're his friends. We're not gonna harm him.
Roll a persuasion check, Morgana.
Okay.
Also, what language
one-
did he say that in?
I said it in the tree language. Don't I have that?
You have orc, and yes, you do. Roll it with advantage.
Yes. Okay.
Oh
cool.
shoot, I'm rolling. Sorry, I
Yeah,
forget
I'm
how
sorry.
things work. It's okay.
Yeah, I feel bad. This is like the one night I'm rolling a lot already.
It's okay.
I usually like roll like 3 times, and I'm like, I'm good. That was a good 3 rolls.
Well, it's
Now I'm
also
like, yeah.
even when I'm playing as NPCs talking to other NPCs, I will forget to roll. Also, you got a 21.
Woo!
Nice.
So you watch.
Well, I should just have you roll for me more often.
So you
I
guys
never
all
rolled that.
watch as after Vorgana speaks, the 4 walls of the cage, foom, 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 fall to the ground. Gregnut, ooh, well, isn't that nice? Walks out, and the cage shrinks up into something that looks like it's about the size of a palm,
Whoa.
and it just sits
Can I
there
go
on the
shake his
grass.
hand?
It's the size of a palm. It's not not a
okay.
palm.
Okay, then I stand backwards.
Mhm.
I'm like, hey, Gregnut, you're free.
Yay! Free to rejoin my friends. Darius, what did you say about sitting on your lap? He like looks at you expectantly. Darius? Oh no, I've scared him away.
Oh no.
Darius?
I start to vigorously pull on his hair.
He starts to do the Macarena. As you do.
Perfect.
Darius, does this ritual... Yes.
About... Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, I'm so sorry.
Say what?
I'm moderately concerned about Vincent's current stature.
Yeah, I was thinking about talking about that as well. Yeah, I'm really not sure what we should do here. Can one of us Well, this is bean magic. Does our magic even work against bean magic?
I'll carry
this is
Vincent around for a while.
highly unknown territory. This bean magic.
Mm.
Hey Vincent, how do you feel about walking around on the top of my staff? On top of the globe. Say what?
Sounds like you like it.
I think he was saying I want to be big again, but also it'll wear off eventually. he starts to he starts to like put his hand up on his head, Vincent, because he's trying to get you to run onto it, like when you try to get a fly to go onto it.
I hug onto his finger.
Okay, he lifts it up slowly. I know he's hard to see. I think he's on my finger now. Put the staff here, and then we can worry about the sitting on your lap thing later. But put the staff here. Darius! Darius, he's gonna get away!
Yes, I'm here.
Put the staff by my finger!
Here. There you go.
Okay. Darius lowers his staff towards Gregnut finger. Vincent, do you hop onto Darius' staff?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Darius,
Yes,
do you want to
I do.
describe...
Okay, so just remind me, don't push any of the buttons.
Oh my god.
Oh, that staff. Okay.
No, I meant the
Start-
staff of...
Imagine a battle sequence where Vincent is like literally just like having to press the buttons on the staff. It's
That would be
run
kinda
over
cool.
yeah.
Also, I start sweating profusely, but nobody can tell because I'm so tiny.
I accept this, and it is true. Thank you for saving me, my friends. What exactly are we going to do now? Oh, Ron, he's okay! Gregnut runs up to, like, 30 yards away where Olron is. And, like, lashes onto his legs in a hug. Olron just kind of looks down at him. I forgive you. It's fine. Don't worry about it. He lets go, stands back,
God.
looks at Olron, whose face is like a mask of stone. For a brief moment, as Gregnut like glances back at you all, his face looks devastated, and then it's back to stone. But you have your Olron, you have your Gregnut, you have your tiny Vincent and potential Aunt Ashoka. You have your Darius, your Rendor, your Vergana. What would you all like to do now?
So we know this tree's here, and then we have like the 3 openings that we could go into.
You guys have already gone. This was the second of the 3 pathways that you were kind of led down last time.
Oh, okay.
The third leads
Okay.
to a spot that you guys haven't been yet. But when Vincent was looking at it with the glasses, had a black glowing spot, similar to the trees that had the red glowing spot and the orange glowing spot.
Do you guys want to check out that area? I like point to the map, or we have a map of like what we've.
Vincent has the map.
Oh no.
we can,
Okay, well.
Does anyone have a magnifying glass?
I do.
The first thing after Vincent gets on there, I'm like, "Where's the map?" And then everyone's like, "Vincent has it."
Let me
Okay,
see
well-
why.
Glasses too?
He does. He
What?
actually
He has the
does.
glasses.
So that means that you guys don't see in advance the dangerous trees. So pardon while I delete those
We
things
are
on the map.
in trouble.
I climb up
No,
to
wait-
Darius'
wait a minute.
ear.
Yes?
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm going to hold my staff in front of me and I'm going to look up and I'm going to say, where should we go on the map?
Let's
Okay.
see.
Vincent,
Where
I want
should
you
we
to
go on
make
that?
like a cartography check, and then I want you to make a strength check as you start to lead Darius's staff by like tugging on the end of it to try and guide him like a.
Okay.
This is gonna be one strength.
Are you serious? One of the only things I'm actually good at.
That is a natural one, friendos.
Dang it.
Well,
Being tiny, something about becoming tiny has made your map almost like it's like something didn't convert properly, and it looks like there's been a bunch of ink spilled in a bunch of places, and it doesn't even look like quite the same map anymore. And you're not sure what it will look like when you get big again. And you're not really sure where you are. But you know that you're in the forest. You know that the pathway that was like fully wood was wherever Olron was. You know that if you head, and then because of your because of the insecurities of your own analysis of the map, you tug weakly on Darius' staff, not really knowing which way to go. And Darius, you don't even feel it.
just am pulling. I have decided a direction, but it is just completely random. But since you can't feel it anyway, it makes no difference.
Okay. Interesting.
I mean, instead of tugging on the staff, you should just stand up there on top, like you're in front on the top of the Titanic, and point the way forward.
Do that.
That way.
Okay. Make a performance check to be seen, and then make a luck check to see which way you're pointing. Do any of you guys have any priority for what you want to do or accomplish?
I just want to get the hell out of there. But
Okay.
I don't want to like be too crazy about it.
Okay. Out of this area of the forest, out of the forest in general. Also, that was a 9 and a 7. So, also, Render, what were you going to say? I want to hear what everyone has to say before I describe what happens.
How is everyone health-wise?
I don't know.
Well, we're all full health because you
I'm
had
guessing
feather
it's full
fall
health.
last week.
True.
Remember, we were shook off the tree, but we all floated lightly to the ground with no damage.
All right.
Speaking of that, I would like you, dear friend, you told me something that you understand what I'm talking about now, yes?
Me?
Yes, you.
Yes, I told you that, yes.
I would like you to roll 1d6 for me.
Oh no, what happened?
Ooh.
What did we say?
Interesting.
It's a
What did
straight
we
D6,
say wrong?
right?
Yes, please.
Because don't you usually roll 1d6s, or 1d6s if we say something that's like about the real world?
Okay. Okay.
I have a feeling Granny's not going to answer.
Yeah, I figured. But I'm like worried now. I'm like, did I say something about the real world?
Okay. I know how this... You don't notice anything now, but the realization that that shouldn't have been able to happen does sit in the back of your head, but it somehow did. So it slowly slips further and further back in your mind. But it's still there.
Oh,
And it will be for a while.
it's weird that worked.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh.
So.
Hey guys, maybe we should like get the hell out of here or something. I don't really like how that the tree was talking in Orcish, and I don't know, something just feels wrong about that.
Is there a reason we came here?
Well,
Damn it, Pam.
Here specifically, we came to get Gregna, but we're trying to find Pam.
Or do you mean the island at large? Because the island at large, I also don't really know.
The island at large. Is there a reason why we came to this island to begin with?
Yes.
Darius, you want to explain why we came here?
Yes, it's a spot on our map that we see that will give us a clue, we hope, to finding our friend.
Yeah. We're trying to find our friend.
Enough said, right?
Yeah. That's all I was going to say. But
Vincent, are you trying to actually express things, or are you doing a joke?
No, I'm just telling him that was very well put, but in tiny speak. So
Okay.
I'll just be like, I'll just add a little bit to be like, we triangulated places on our map all across the world to figure out where a friend is. And this is one of the places we were talking or found about. Yeah.
But you don't know where on this island specifically you need to go.
No.
Oh.
Kind of more of an expedition, I guess.
Yep.
Okay. Well, in that case, do you want to push on, or would you rather go back to the ship?
Well, I don't think we should go back. We don't think we have to go back to the ship, but we should definitely, probably, get out of this part of the woods. Especially with a talking orcus tree. I don't know. I don't think that just the way it was talking made me feel like maybe we shouldn't be in this part of the area. I don't know what else we'll find, but I feel like going anywhere past a orcus tree is probably not a good idea.
So should we spotted certain trees with areas.
Mm-hmm.
We've checked out 3 of them so far. Is that correct?
The 3
Two, I think.
pathways, the trees are, the trees seem to be kind of towards the end of these different pathways in certain circumstances. From what you guys understand so far, the trees that have these different variations of light within them when you look through the glasses seem to correlate with these strangely intense and attractive things, like the glass that Rendor still has, or the scales that Dren was drawn to. Dren, who, by the way, is like waiting back up the path for you. Just kind of there. Yes, so without access to the map and without access to the glasses, there's no relative way to be aware of when any other of these alluring trees or aspects of the forest might make themselves known.
Should we check the other path?
I think that would be a good idea.
I say yes.
Who knows? Maybe we'll find Pam then.
All right. Have you guys decided?
Let's mosey on.
All right.
Yeah.
Who is taking point in the? Who is leading the charge? Who remembers the way the best? To the other.
Me. No, I'm kidding.
I would say maybe we should. What is there a role we should make for that?
Well, I would be asking who among you would be leading the charge, and then that person would make a survival roll. If you wish to metagame, you can check your survival stats. You have good survival stats, Morgana. You have a +5.
So I don't even need to like roll. I just know.
No, you would still
Or
have
should
to
I
roll.
roll?
I'm saying comparatively to what other folks might have, you have a +5. If you guys want to,
I can
okay.
roll. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'm not leading.
Oh no.
Let's have the wizard lead.
Okay.
No.
Hopefully, I get a good roll.
So Morgana is going to lead. You got a 12. I have it set on advantage when I should. You got a 12.
Oh no.
So you're leading slowly and carefully back through the woods. It takes a little while.
Before we go,
Mm.
can I grab that tree cage thing?
Yes, you can. It sits harmlessly on the ground. It seems to shimmer a
just
little bit when
pick
you
it
pick it up. Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh.
Pick
I
it
thought
up and
that thing was gonna like capture us, so I just didn't touch it. Good thinking.
watch it expand around me or something.
Oh no.
I'll shove it in my my pouch.
All right. Done easily enough. Anything else before you guys follow Morgana's lead?
Shields out.
All right. So is it Vorgana, Rendor, Darius? Darius / Vincent on Darius's staff?
You know
That's
what?
fine. I can bring up the rear.
Sandwich Darius. Let's sandwich him. I'll
Okay.
go. I'll take up the rear.
Okay, yeah, that would probably be good because I feel like I probably need to fall back a little bit if something attacked us, and then you could just kind of come in as like a front man if we
Yeah,
get
I can
attacked.
move up really easily.
Okay.
Okay. So you're not quite a
Well-
straight line. You're kind of clumped. Okay.
Yeah.
Partially due to that and partially due to the fact that you're still being somewhat tepid, Vorgana, just because you're being careful moving through these woods. It takes a little bit of time to first catch back up with where Dren was, kind of around a bend or two in the woods. He joins up and will take up the rear with Rendor.
Okay.
And he will either aid you or you can ask him to make the next survival roll. I will tell you what his stat is. Okay, his survival isn't as good as yours, so he can just give you advantage if you like.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. All right. If you guys wish to make a perception check as well along the way, you may.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll probably do that as well.
Okay, so let me do this one for you, and then I'll do a normal. Oh. Perception. So survival again. And perception. Ah! Okay, so here are the rules. Vorgana, you got a 20 survival overall. Rendor got a 7 perception, Darius got a 13 perception, and you got an 8 perception. So with Dren's assistance, finding the original pathway back out to the kind of three-way split path is easier, and you're able to start to make your way down the other pathway. However, because you're so focused on finding the specific landmarks to take you guys along that pathway, you kind of lose sight of the other smaller, intricate details. Darius?
I got 16 perception. Does that help at all?
Actually, hold on a sec. Let me think about this. Because you're tiny, and you're on Darius' staff. What are some cool things a tiny version of a human would see that others wouldn't? Oh no, I've broken my keyboard.
Oh no.
It's fine. I just bumped it with my foot and it started typing dashes. Okay. Let's see. So I think I will describe what Darius sees, and then I can describe what you see in slightly greater detail. Darius, what you can begin to notice is that along some of the tops of the trees towards the left-hand side, towards the path that you guys had originally gone down with Ulron to retrieve him through the kind of all-wooded, rooted path, it seems that parts of that path have already started to shift, as though parts of the roots and or tangle are falling away, which doesn't register too much because it's starting to slowly almost look like it's becoming part of the normal forest again, but it seems slow. Vincent, what you notice looking in the same area, because you can see almost in a more microscopic detail, you can almost see as like, if this were a game, as like pixel by pixel, it switches back from tree root to dirt. But it's not pixel by pixel, it's almost like dust falling back in, settling it back into a normal version of the same forest. It almost seems like it's Part of it seems like it's coming up from the ground, as though something's radiating from beneath, similar to the way you saw the lights behaving. But part of it seems like it's coming down from the very tops of the trees as well. Like there's something up at the top there, shaking the air of normalcy back into everything.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. So, as you all continue on towards the third pathway, if you all want to make another perception check, please go ahead. It will take a little bit of time. You're also free to have any discussions you like as this happens. Olron is following silently. Gregnut is keeping in step between Rendor and Darius, where he feels safe. Okay. Okay. Let's see, 11 perception. Oh, I have to roll for Morgana. Darius, are you rolling perception again as well? Darius? Okay. Do you want to? Or are you thinking about other stuff? Okay. It's a genuine question, you don't have to. Okay. Vincent, you're too caught up trying to analyze what it was that you just saw to notice too much else other than a continuation of the same pattern. Darius, similarly for you guys both got 11s, you're both kind of like, about that thing we just saw. Rendor, you're trying to keep an eye out for some of the more tempting trees again, almost to block yourself against it. But one thing that you notice as you do, something starts to feel kind of warm in your pocket.
Oh god. Is it the pocket with the glass?
Yes, it is. Morgana, you got a 15 on your perception check that I rolled for you.
Uh-huh.
I assumed that you wanted to be looking out for things. Along with keeping track of the path, along with the help of Dren up at the front, something kind of hits in you as you realize that part of this that you're passing near seems similar to something that you've seen before, but you know for a fact that you haven't physically been here. And you're not sure if that's a trick or not. But something seems familiar.
Okay. Wow.
Hey guys.
Yeah.
My glass is getting warm.
Huh? I turn and I'm like, what?
Huh?
What glass?
The piece of glass that the mind controlled me. It's getting warm.
Huh.
Okay, well, should we get rid of it?
I don't know. I think something is going on with this area.
Do you take the glass out at all, or you just leave it? But yes, Vincent, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say I tried to tiny Mission Impossible myself over to Rendor.
Make another athletics check for me. We're going to go into Vincent Vision again as the action music starts up.
Okay.
Try to... Okay. So it's a little bit... What do you mean what happened?
It sounded like you, did you play a ukulele or something?
I played a C chord and realized, wait, that doesn't sound like action hero music, and then I felt silly, and then I looked and saw you got an 18 athletics score.
Aww.
So we cut to you leaping off of Darius's staff onto onto the top of Gregnut's head, and then you take a running leap off of his little ogre ear and launch yourself onto Rendor, landing on the edge of his shield, and go running along the top of it until... Are you trying to get fully to his pocket or just on him?
Yeah, to his pocket.
Okay. Make an intelligence check to see if you can figure out which of the pockets it is that has the thing in it.
Oh no.
He is a man of several pockets.
I will not succeed, but I'll make the roll anyway.
Yeah,
that's the spirit.
For it.
You can do it. You can do it.
Well, I appreciate your support, but
Okay, so you land on his shoulder, and then you realize, shoot, I don't know which it is.
Do I know he's there?
Make a perception check.
Okay. Probably not.
Strangely, no. You're too focused on the fact that even though the glass, for the briefest moment, felt warm, it's starting to slowly cool off now, and you can feel the difference through your pocket.
Okay, I will. I'm gonna take it out and look at it then.
Okay.
'Cause I'm curious.
Do you remember how before, when you last looked at it, it appeared as though some of the flowers from the scene when you were brought back to the real world kind of were encased in the bottom of it, like they had been kept in resin?
Are they there?
Those flowers are still there, and in a slightly off to the side segment of the same glass, it appears to be like a molded piece of bark with like a tiny leaf. No bigger than Vincent is.
Was this in there before, or is like when I first got the glass, or is this new?
No, that is new. The flowers came at a certain point. It is new.
Okay.
The flowers came at a certain point, and now this bark moss, tiny leaf situation is also new.
And it's all inside it.
Yes.
I am confused. Okay, I'll put it back.
Okay.
do I see anything on the glass when Rendor is looking at it?
Make a perception check.
Let's go.
Okay.
Oh, something
You-
above a 10.
Yes, good job. You can see the same things that he does. They look strangely large to you. They do appear to be physically there. It's not a thing he's just seeing. You can see the same flowers that you actually sort of recognize because you were there to help bring him out of that stupor. And you can recognize part of the bark as something similar to that of the tree you just fought. And you can also see your tiny reflection, and it may be starting to giving you a tiny panic attack now, but you're not going to think about that
Okay.
because you've
Does anyone
never
have-
been. Go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
It's okay. You can go.
Does anyone have a pearl?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I would venture to guess no.
Let me check my coffers. Greg now starts digging through his pants. I can check my bag. Dren starts to look.
I guess I'll check my tiny bag of holding.
Make a investigation check.
I have a transmuter stone with that.
Oh, that's cool, dude. That's a cool thing that you have.
I know.
Your investigation is interrupted by the fact that as soon as you start to look back at what's in your pack, you see a tiny Ashoka asleep in that pack. So that answers that.
Okay.
So you do have a transmuter stone. Vorgana does not. I'm sorry, you do not have pearls. You do have ruby dust. Pam is not here, but has all sorts of things.
All right, I have plans for when we get back to the ocean then.
Okay, are you guys continuing on your way?
Yeah. I'll just pocket it and continue along.
Can I follow the glass into the right pocket and go into that pocket?
I'll say sure. Make another perception check, Rendor, to see if you notice Harrison now. Or sorry, Vincent. You don't know him as Harrison.
Perception.
You feel something that's like a bug on your arm, but you're not sure if it's there, if it's hair, and then by the time you look down, you see it's just your arm hair, and you're like, eh. But you're still like, you're not quite sure.
Alright. Hallucinatory bug.
Yes, precisely. Are you guys continuing on your... Okay. Go ahead and make another perception check. Or actually, let's see. Vorgana, I'll have you make another survival check at advantage if the rest of you want to continue making perception checks. Are you trying to look for anything in particular?
Not me, no. I mean, I don't know. This is like weirdly familiar, but I don't know how to like really tell if there's
How to
anything
articulate that?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, you got a 19 survival check for you, Vorgana. Arendor got a 16 perception, Vincent got a 12 perception, but you're inside of his pocket now, so that's interesting.
I'm perceiving the glass.
I will get back to that in a second, Vincent. Rendor, now that you're somewhat far off from a couple of these different trees, it's strange. Because you have this connection now to this glass, especially since this last change, you can almost tell, like, that might have been tempting if I didn't already have this thing. But you can kind of start to see, and as you do, you can kind of helpfully steer Darius and Gregnut away from them, the two people who are, like, closest to you, and try to keep them forward. But in a strange way, even though they're no longer as tempting to use as they might have once been, like, you can see one that has these, like, beautiful, almost upside-down tulips that seem to be hanging from the branches that look fascinating, and you can tell they're supposed to be. They almost, like, reach out to you guys as you pass by. But as they do that, they are less tempting on, like, a forced level, and yet somehow they're actually more curious about them, just as yourself, as a character who I'm aware of. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Morgana, your focus is getting more and more drawn as you're heading towards... You feel like you're heading towards a specific spot, but you don't know why, and that's a little bit frustrating and a little bit scary. Darius, did you roll perception as well?
I thought I did.
Okay. I do not see it.
Yes, I'm still doing my transmute.
Okay. Just double checking how cool your stuff is. Which is fair. You are a wizard.
Yeah.
Vincent. With your 12
14,
perception...
alright.
As you look at the glass in Rendor's pocket, make a wisdom saving throw for me.
Oh no! Oh no!
Okay. So you got above
I can
10.
do my reroll thing if I need to. Okay.
So, because it is partially already kind of taken over and more personalized, it's no longer as strong, but suddenly being this up close to it, seeing your own reflection in it, and in the parts of the glass that are still clear, seeing certain other things kind of reflected back at you that you don't quite recognize or understand, but that feel familiar and like you're drawn into them, you'll understand now the appeal of what happened to Rendor. And when it's only by breaking eye contact with the currently clear part of the glass and looking down to the flower